What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and this is part 3 of top 10 favorite ice and snow levels in video games. For those that are wondering, parts 1 and 2 are up on my channel, so I suggest you watch those first, then come to see numbers 10 through 5, then come back to see the remaining 4 entries. In this case, time to finish off with some remaining wintry wonderlands. That being said, without further ado, let's get back into it. Moving on, next at number 4, we have Holly Jolly Village from Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And I know you're possibly wondering, but wait, you normally say one per franchise. Why do you have 2 Mario entries? Well, it's kind of simple. When it comes down to it, Mario is one of those few franchises that tend to get split up into certain subcategories. And in this case being the platformers, Mario Kart, Mario Party, and the Mario RPGs. And as much as I want to mention about Mario Kart, because especially considering gushing about a certain ice or snow level that I enjoy in a Mario Kart game, in a certain Mario Kart game, well, I gotta at least mention about the RPGs. And they have some amazing ice and snow levels. I mean, to the point that, considering how I started playing Paper Mario, the original Paper Mario for N64 last year, I enjoyed the Shiver region for what it's worth. And the Ice Elemental Temple in Origami King is one of the best I have seen in a Paper Mario game. It's dungeons I've seen in a Paper Mario game. That being said, it has to come courtesy of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. A game that I have never heard anyone else talk about. And honestly, that's a shame. I mean, there have been a lot of people talking about Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, but there are not a lot of people that talk about this game a lot. For the most part, and I think that's a shame. Since this game's pretty good. And surprisingly enough, the ice and snow level in question is basically one of the first ones you come to at the beginning of the game. And this is after Peach goes back in time and ends up getting captured by Princess Shroob. And Mario and Luigi have to go back in time to rescue her. And considering this is a game where they end up teaming up with their younger selves, it really is interesting to say the least. Of course, that being said, after going to a main grassland, they end up reaching Holly Jolly Village, and honestly, for an ice and snow level, it seems like a post-apocalyptic, almost town that has been ravaged by by an alien invasion. And in all fairness, Holly Jolly Village doesn't seem so holly jolly. I mean, it's basically just a dark holiday location that seems like the aftermath of a ruined Christmas. I mean, even in one of the houses, you find the mayor of Holly Jolly Village hidden in a chimney. And he looks like Santa Claus. So yeah, after you end up knocking him out of the chimney, he gets turned into a mushroom by the Shroobs. Yeah, You basically end up knocking Santa out of a chimney and he gets turned into a mushroom by aliens. But what's even more or creepier is the fact that Holly Jolly Village and Holly Jolly Village's theme is basically jingle bells. Yeah. It is one of the most dismal sights ever. And honestly, I kind of love it for how spooky it is. Because, yeah, really says a lot. Moving on next at number 3, we have Free ZZ Peak from Banjo-Kazooie. Well, after all of those dour energy from the previous entry, let's move on to something a little more festive. And whenever anyone thinks of festive ice and snow levels, the first thing that comes to mind is always Banjo-Kazooie and Free ZZ Peak. And keep in mind, I have never played either of the Banjo-Kazooie games. I mean, in fact, I started playing Banjo-Kazooie just last year. But that really being said, the reason why I've wanted to play through Banjo-Kazooie is because I wanted to experience the holiday majesty that is Free ZZ Peak. I mean, it is a level that just screams Christmas, as the big centerpiece is a big old snowman in the middle of the area. There is a Christmas tree, a snowy village, and presents all over the place. You basically, one of the missions is bringing presents to the kids of a polar bear, as well as racing said polar bear down a slope on a sled, which is very crazy to say the least. There are enemies that are just basically living snowmen around. The theme is just Christmas incarnate. And basically there's a point where you guide Christmas lights to a Christmas tree, protecting them from crocodile-like enemies. And then you turn on a button in the back of the Christmas tree and leading you to try and go through the star to type to light it up. Honestly, I know they tried to top it with the sequel Banjo-Tooie and Hailfire Peaks, but honestly, I don't think anyone was going to top Free ZZ Peak. That being said, this list has 2 more remaining, so something topped it. Says a lot. Moving on next at number 2, we have Alabaster Islands from Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yeah. If you're wondering where the Pokemon entry is, well, look no further than right here. And honestly, when it comes down to it, Pokemon has a lot of interesting ice levels. Granted, while most of them are just involving ice physics, many of them, like the Ice Cave or Frost Cavern, many of them are very late game. Naturally, because, well, for some strange reason, ice is always shown at the almost end. Ice-type Pokemon are always capturable at the end of the game. That being said, one of the most well-known ones was Generation 4 as well as Snow Point, and how Snow Point City and the routes leading up to it were basically formatted to the point where you had to travel through those routes up to Snow Point City through snow and a blizzard. Yeah, so it kind of makes sense that when Pokemon Legends Arceus was released, they just decided to put on their big boy pants and show us what it was like in the past. And they did not disappoint. Because, oh my god, the Alabaster Icelands was just unbelievably amazing. As basically, I mean, honestly, in all fairness, you still had a chance to capture a lot of Ice-type Pokemon, and as well as the odd Electabuzz or Magmar, and many other Pokemon that you were able to capture in previous areas. But it had a bit of explorative wonder, since basically it takes a look at the areas of the past. Not only that, you not only had a chance to explore the Pearl Clan settlement, but you also got to see what Snow Point City and the areas around it were like back during the past of back during the time when it was known as Hisui. I mean, even the Snow Point Temple and Lake Acuity were shown in perfect detail. And plus, the fact that you're able to not only come across Hisuian Braviary, but face off against Hisuian Avalugg, one of the most hardest bosses, in my opinion, in that game. It is just, you know something's gonna ramp up. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. That's all I gotta say. Finally, at number 1, we have the Snow Peak Ruins from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Yeah. Honestly, Zelda is, like Pokemon, Zelda is known for having a fair amount of ice levels. But honestly, I really can't not mention about the dungeon. In Twilight Princess, they really ramped it up tenfold, as all of the dungeons are amazing. I mean, we can already see that in Arbiter's Grounds. But Snow Peak Ruins is an old abandoned mansion / chalet run by a couple of Yetis. Not only that, but in order to reach the area, Link has to surf down on a slope on his shield, which is kind of awesome to say the least. And even when you get there, you're basically exploring through the mansion in order to find a shard of the Twilight Mirror. As well as you have Yeto, who's able to give you pumpkin soup to heal up, which is just kind of nice. That being said, the biggest one comes from Yetta, and especially when he's revealed to be the boss of the entire dungeon. And that point where she basically ends up getting corrupted by the shard of the Twilight Mirror and turning into Blizzetta. Honestly, in all fairness, I am spooked every time I see that. But either way, it's memorable enough that I even remember that I had to put this as my favorite Ice and Snow level in video games. really says a lot. And those are my top 10 favorite ice and snow levels in video games. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on Saturday for when we take a look at one of my favorite pets,